Hi guys, good morning. How y'all doing? Today I want to talk about emotional intelligence. First of all, I want to start by warning people that there's a lot of imposters, Gila Jed imposters on Telegram. If someone starts a conversation with "Greetings, Patriot," it's not me. I don't talk like that. And that's a big part of what I want to talk about today is using your intuition. Using your intuition, because your intuition is your God-sourced connection to Him. Intuition is your feeling that you get from God, that sounds like truth, that feels like truth, that feels right, that makes sense. That is God speaking to you from a gut feeling from the inside. And in Hebrew we call it seichel. It's spiritual intelligence. That's how I define seichel, spiritual intelligence. And I saw a connection in the Psalms of David, the Tehillim, where it says in Tehillim, in Psalm 14, number 2, it says, Hashem mishamayim hishkif. God is gazing down from heaven, al bnei Adam, on the sons of man. L'ros, to see, hayesh maskil. Is there someone with seichel? What gives a person seichel? What confers seichel? So there's one thing that can give you seichel, and it's someone dorish es Elohim, someone who is searching for God. This is what the connection is. This is what the formula is. How does somebody generate, how does somebody cultivate their seichel? Their spiritual intelligence, dorish es Elohim. You must constantly be seeking out God, seeking and seeking and seeking God. And this is how you develop your seichel. And I realized also that in this epic battle, this Gog uMagog battle between artificial intelligence and emotional intelligence, there is one main differentiator between the two camps, and it is someone, what is it? What is it? It is someone who is connected to their emotions. Your emotions are the thing that give you seichel. And when you have been through trauma in life, and when you have been programmed by our, media, television, our whole lives we've been programmed for fear, you are disconnected from your higher emotional field. And it is the emotional field through which we connect to God. And how do I know this? Because I had this epiphany from the last video that God gave us 72 names to work with. What does each name represent? Why did God give us so many names to work with? Each name represents a different emotional field with which to access God. God gave us many options and many portals. Each emotional field is a portal to God. And you can choose any one on any day, any time, depending on your mood. You can match the frequency. But if you're in the lower vibrational field, you're disconnected from God. So I keep this in my kitchen, the emotional wave frequency spectrum. And I'm going to post it to my Telegram so you could all look at it more clearly. Gila Jed channel linked below. The emotional wave frequency spectrum has two halves to it. It has the ultra low, low, very low, and then it has on the other side the high frequency, very high, and ultra high frequency. Ultra low frequency is regret, shame, pity, grief, guilt, betrayal. Then you get to very low apathy, hopelessness, terror, despair, all the way up to the higher frequencies of contentment, cheerfulness, acceptance. The many divisions, there could be at least 72 emotions listed on this. But as you cross over from the low to the high, this is where you go from disconnection to God to connection to God. Because in the higher frequencies of love and above, this is how you reconnect to God source. When you are afraid and when you are in shame, pity, grief, guilt, betrayal, regret, you are in a state of disconnection to God. This is why getting control of your emotions through your thought field is such important avoda. It is important work. It is the work of this life. Because when you regulate your emotion, you regulate your connection to God, to all that is. And then I go back to my cosmic galactic awakening, and I'm learning a new language that I'm loving. I'm learning about stargates. I'm learning about portals. I'm learning about things that we only saw in the movies that we thought were just in the movies, but it turns out it was the beginning of disclosure. So we wouldn't be shocked when it's real, when we find out that the fiction is really fact, that we're about to live inside the best movie of our lives. So then I realized that the word portal, I printed up the definition for the word portal and for the word stargate, and I'm going to read it to you. A portal is an extraordinary opening in space or time that connects travelers to distant realms. That's a portal. And then we have a stargate. A stargate, listen to this, is a hypothetical device, not so hypothetical, consisting of a traversable portal, typically a wormhole, that can send one to another location light years away instantaneously. And this is what emotions do for us. You can use a ultra high frequency emotion like exhilaration, harmony, unconditional acceptance, and unconditional love, and that is a freaking stargate to God. You are immediately in the vicinity of God. And this is how we defeat the enemy, because the enemy is AI. It is artificial intelligence. It has no real connection to God because it has no real emotion. It is a robot. And that's why they can work. They can carry out their evil through the narcissist, because unfortunately the narcissist cut himself off from God's source because he experienced some kind of trauma or pain early in life and closed off his soul and sealed off his soul. And your soul is the portal to your emotions, and the soul is the emotional field, and God is the emotional field, and this is how we connect. God asks hundreds of times in the Bible for what? For our hearts. Our hearts. Doesn't really want our minds. You know, if you can use your mind to have the thoughts to generate, to conjure the emotion, that's amazing. But the end game in connection with God is not in the mind. It's in what the mind can produce in the heart. The emotional field is where we connect with God. The emotional field is the quantum field. The magnetic force and pull of our law of attraction is through our imagination's ability to conjure the emotion. You know, when you can picture what it would feel like in your, vacation home on the beach, and you conjure that feeling, you pull the reality in through the emotion. And in my last video, I spoke about how I had an epiphany about how the different names of God, I had a little bit of an existential crisis because it almost felt like God was being divided up. But then I realized God himself was dividing himself into different emotional fields, because human beings can't really feel more than one emotion at a time. So God is like, if you're feeling this, come to me this way. If you're feeling this, come to me this other way, through this other stargate, this other portal, this other emotional portal, this other emotional stargate. And then this girl on Facebook who loves to start up with me, she actually sent me something that helped me. It is a verse in the Parshas Va'era. This is in Numbers chapter 6, verse 2. Vayedaber Elohim el Moshe. And Elohim, which is the aspect of nature of God, or the more stricter judgment name for God, spoke to Moses. And what did he say? Vayomer Elav Ani Adonai. I am the God of mercy. I am the one. So God is clarifying who he is to Moses. I may come to you through all these different emotional fields, but I am still the one. Ve'ira'el el Avraham el Yitzchak ve'el Yaakov, and I showed myself to your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, with what name? With what emotional field? Be'el Shaddai. With the name of abundance. That's a great name to appear to somebody in the name of vast abundance. Because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were the first humans to look up and wonder about God. Look up to the sky and wonder who created all of this. And he said, Ushmi Adonai lo nodati lahem, that for some reason God wanted Moses to know that the name of Adonai was not known to the forefathers. I don't know what this means, but it's something to think about. I'm sure you guys out there, somebody's got an answer for me. Why God held this name of Adonai for Moses. That was the first time he revealed himself that way. It's definitely something I'm going to be thinking about. So then I realized also that we have to use our intuition. We have to develop our emotional field. And in turn, doing so, we develop our intuition. Our emotions help us understand the language God is speaking to us through our intuition. And why I go back in time and I ask myself, how was it that I understood that COVID was a narrative, that COVID was BS in the beginning? I understood immediately. And it was because I had been writing a book about God and my relationship with God and all the different spiritual awakenings stories that I've had over the years. For 10 years, I had been cultivating my personal relationship with God, my Doreshes Elokim. I had been seeking God for so long that he gifted me with Seichel. He gave me the gift of Seichel to understand what Jesse Waters on Fox News said last night, that I'm going to post in my Telegram. What did Jesse Waters say? Watch the waters. What did Jesse Waters say? He said that Deborah Birx came out and said that COVID protocol, they were making it up the whole time. She said that. Her and Fauci. They were making it up as they went along. And how did I know? Because I had spent so much time cultivating my seichel. How? By seeking God. By sitting early in the morning, writing my book, saying, how have I had a spiritual awakening? How can I help other people feel what I feel right now when I feel God? How can I put this into words? And that is the purpose of my book. That is the purpose that I sat and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I tried to find the words to conjure the emotional field inside myself and to help other people conjure this emotional field that is a stargate and a portal to instantaneous connection to God. It is a shortcut to God when you work on your different high vibing emotions, when you work on forgiving, love, joy, peace. I'm telling you, man, these are immediate connections, immediate, you jump to other dimensions, to swoon with God. So I just wanted to send everybody love and send everybody good vibes and encourage everybody to stay on the God side of the emotional spectrum, on the connected side, so you don't stay in fear, so you don't accidentally become a puppet of the AI, so you don't become a soldier on the wrong side of this war. How you stay a soldier for God is to stay in his vibrational field. You don't want to work for the enemy. You don't want to accidentally work for the enemy. So do this work of keeping your vibe high, and we're all going to meet up on the other side of the Stargate. Mwah! Have a great day. Love you.